in anticipation of keeping kids from stepping over those if they were on there playing, or if we had a social event that got out of hand and people went. We'll talk about that later when we get to the social events. So anyway, so that's some of the progress on the park. This is what our park entrance looked like after we had expanded our trail system last year, which was very, very nice. But this is what it looks like now. So if you hadn't had a chance to walk through there and take a look at it, it looks pretty cool. We got some shrubbery in there, and that's some of the park area. Okay, so it looks nice. And how did we get it that way? Well, Ron hired free labor to do that, and he paid them every bit of their well worth, which was free labor. So here's some of our volunteer labor removing some stumps out of the park. Okay, and volunteer labor acting like city workers. Okay. And more volunteer labor. So that's how we get it done, volunteer labor. So if you're ever looking for something to do on a Saturday, rain or shine, look on our website for when we're asking for volunteers, and feel free to just show up. You don't have to tell us in advance if it's a last-minute decision to come do it.
And we try and make it fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun, and occasionally we'll bring coffee, occasionally other beverages, but we get it done, and we enjoy it. So participate if you get a chance. So I kept this picture from last year because it just impressed me how Ron could work with that bottle balancing on the thatch.
That was thanks to Tom. Tom got us organized on that.
One of the other ways he gets it done is he barters a little bit. Ron actually traded a bunch of our old overgrown shrubs for labor, and that was from the part of the park renovation. And so, if you haven't been to our park, anybody not been to our park? Okay, good, because that's where it is. That green area there. That's our community park. It looks like that. Okay, and we have a play set there, picnic tables. Okay, good. All right. So, Ron does a pretty good job of saving us money by bartering. This is a company he used to remove some trees, and they actually dug them by shovel and salvaged some of the trees that were reusable, and they hauled them away. And for that, we traded dollars. We got a discount on our work. They got the old shrubs. Okay. So community activities, that's Laura's area. And I just kept pictures from last year, so if you guys are in those pictures, that's great. We had this year 4 events. Okay, did anybody want more? Come on.
Talk to Laura if you do.
Okay, so when I get to the end of the slides, I'll tell you what I want one more. Yeah. So yeah, Project Santa Claus. Project Santa Claus is coming up. It's December 17th at 11:30. 11:30 in front of the community park. Project Santa Claus. You bring a gift, wrapped or unwrapped. You know, you can bring it any way you want. Just bring a gift for the kids, and the fire department will come, and it's a lot of fun. This year, we're going to be gone again. Wow. Okay, so this year I'll have the tent up, and so that if it's inclement weather, you'll be able to hang out under the tent.
I think the gifts have to be unwrapped because otherwise they don't know what it is.
Yeah,
or who to give it to.
Unwrapped. Yeah, unwrapped. Yeah. Okay.
We'll take clothes too.
Or cash.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I managed to be home last year for it, so that was really cool. The Easter egg hunt, again, in the park, we managed to do it this year with the tarp over half of the park while we were seeding, and but again, a lot of fun. So if you were there this year and you didn't get your picture on this website, or on this PowerPoint, it's on our website. All of the pictures of our events are on the website, including some videos. It's fun to watch. So we'll go there in a few minutes. Adult night out. There are no pictures of adult night out for a good reason. Because because Jim didn't bring his camera.
I was
but
having too much fun.
That was our added event this year. We did an adult night out. We had a barbecue and some stuff going on, music and that kind of thing. Everybody brought their own beverage and their own food to barbecue, and it was kind of fun. So the next event, Ice Cream Social. Okay, the Ice Cream Social I thought it was a big hit. Again, this year we did the same thing. We added a supervisor for the bouncy house, because otherwise Dick has to stand there at the bouncy house the whole time. So it worked out great. The one event that we thought of this year that we didn't do was a movie in the park, which I thought would have been kind of fun. And then somebody threw in an idea of a wine tasting, where you bring your own bottle of wine, you write a little story about your wine, you put it on the table, and then everybody gets to go around and taste the wine, read the story about your wine. And I thought something like that might be kind of fun. But those are just ideas, and so we need a couple of things to make that happen. One is we need your idea, and the other is Laura made me put this in here. She really, really, really would appreciate volunteers to help if she's still our social director. She really wants volunteers, and it really doesn't take a lot. It's not a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but to volunteer is not a lot of work because she does it all. So, okay, what's it doing? Okay, so communications, that's Jim. And I mentioned earlier that we're talking about email for our official form of communication. And what that means is we have to do a bylaw change. So I'll be looking for volunteers to work probably 2 nights, two-hour meetings to revise the bylaws, and then we'll go through the process of having them voted on and adjusted to allow things like email as our primary source of communication. The board uses it as its form of communication amongst themselves. It works tremendously. It's really a great way to go. And we have now collected emails from
120 of our 130 residents.
Yeah, so 120 out of 130 have submitted emails saying, yep, I want to use email to communicate. So if we took that as a vote, that's a really, really positive sign that people want to use email. So that's the direction we want to go. Yes?
I did my email, but I don't check up about once a month. So what are you going to do for things like that?
We would call you and say, could you check your email? So that no. So you would use email, but you would only get the message once a month.
Typically, yeah.
Okay.
Well, but the notices have to go out at least 30 days beforehand.
Right. I was going to say that's not the end of the world, because you will get all of the information eventually, and you could go to our website and get that information as well at any time that you want to, with or without email.
Do we still opt in for paper notifications?
Opt in for paper?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you should bring that up. I'm going through this whole it's not really funny, but it is to me. I'm going through this process at Western. We have a tax form that every student gets, and it really has to go to most parents, because parents pay for the tuition. If they want the tax credit, they need this tax form. We mail those. My office mails those. Cost me about $17,000 every year to mail those, and so I want to save that $17,000 and have it electronic. So I put it out there electronically. But the government says students have to opt in for electronic only. Okay, it's not opt out of paper. So I'm really having a struggle trying to figure out how to communicate with 15,000 students and tell them to go on the website and opt in to electronic only. Especially when the students don't care, it's the parents that care. So, but it has raised that issue: is do we just do both? And I say that economically, it's still a savings even if we do both, and just have a small percentage that need paper, because there probably will be a small percentage that need paper. Yeah.
I was going to say there are a number of items that, according to our bylaws, we're required to hand deliver or mail to all the members. For those, that's why we have those door hangers. We basically begged some free door hangers from the Avon lady who was kind enough to give them. We just turn them around and put the Woodside stuff in it. So that way we can meet the requirement of direct delivery to every member without the cost of 44 cents per every notification. Because that's, like $60 every time we send something out. And you'd want us to spend the money on other things.
Well, if a member actively communicates to the board that they would welcome electronic communication, doesn't that allow you to electronically communicate without violating the bylaws?
With the exception of the specific items in the bylaws that require paper.
It says must be mailed.
The one, we could communicate on everything else electronically without fault. But the specific items that, like notices of meetings and that kind of thing, or specifically say paper and by U.S. mail.
Yeah, it says by U.S. mail. That's
and
the problem.
hand delivered.
Not email, unfortunately.
So, I see what you mean. If somebody opted in right now today, I'd love to never have to hand deliver paper again.
Well, if the permission, and I'm not an attorney, but if the permission were to say, understanding what the bylaws require of the board, please take this as my permission to do it a different way, in lieu of disregarding the board.
That probably would suffice as a vote for a bylaw change to allow email. I mean, but it wouldn't specifically change the bylaws to allow that movement. So
technically, it would still be violative of the bylaws. We'd be in violation of the bylaws with the agreement of the participants, but it's still violation.
But I really think the bylaw change is in order. They're from like 1996 or something, and there's other small little issues in this name, wrong.
There's some big issues.
Yeah. So there's other issues too. So I figure, let's just spend 4 or 5 hours and get them all done and be done with it. But
I'd like to not pass up Gary's suggestion though too, and that is that option
To
for
allow
those, because
paper.
we do have some senior citizens in our neighborhood, a few that don't even have a computer and stuff. So we want to be sensitive to those needs too. So
yeah, and I agree that it would just be an added version of official communication. It wouldn't be a sole form of communication. Yeah, it would just be added. Yes.
Does your broadcast system have the ability to identify those people once they open the mail?
No.
If you go to that extent?
Yeah. No. I do have that at work, but I don't have that here. So, unless Jim, you can do some
I can get it. Yeah. Well, in other words, you can send emails with a notification request.
Right.
That people have to literally say, yes, you may notify the sender that I have received it, that I have opened it. Right. But they can also ignore it and not respond either. But the bigger issue is there are certain things in the bylaws where it just says, you must send this by regular mail. So we're required to do it.
But,
or hand delivered.
When you make the change, though, it would be nice to get feedback that people have received it.
Yeah.
Because when you mail, you expect they receive it. When you hand deliver, we know they received it. So it would be nice with email to get that. Yes?
What's the cost of doing a mailing? I mean, for office time, stuffing the envelope, taking it to other than the 44 cents, is there...
our time is free, so that doesn't count. But the materials, you're still looking at, 15 cents or 20 cents a household for materials to do that, and the time.
I belong to another association in town, and they're really trying to go electronic too to save cost. Mm-hmm. And so what they've done is, if you want to continue receiving mail, here's the cost for that. So there is a cost.